Breaking news this morning, President Trump arriving back in the U.S. just a short time ago after abruptly leaving the G7 summit in Canada early. And he had a stark message for Iran as that country's conflict with Israel escalates. He's not interested in a ceasefire. He wants a, quote, real end to Iran's nuclear program. Here's what he told reporters on Air Force One just moments ago.
What specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
An end, a real end, not a ceasefire, an end.
So something that would be permanent?
Yeah, or giving up entirely. That's okay too.
Are you close there? Is that possible? Is that possible in the next 24
Why not?
hours?
Certainly possible. Complete give up. That's possible, yeah.
The president saying he would be in the White House Situation Room this morning, and he also posted this after touching down, quote, I have not reached out to Iran for peace talks in any way, shape, or form. Before leaving Canada, he issued a dire warning to Iran saying that, quote, everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran, the capital city with a population of nearly 10 million people. And images that we are getting in show massive lines of vehicles jamming the highways as Tehran residents race to try and escape the city. This morning, new images from the skies over Israel as Iran fired a new wave of missiles. According to officials on either side of the conflict, 24 people have been killed in Israel and 224 are dead in Iran since the strikes began 5 days ago. CNN's Elena Treen is at the White House for us this morning. Do we have any sense of what the president is doing right now and any sense of what he means when he is warning all these people to leave Tehran, what that means?
Yeah, look, so this morning, Sarah, we heard the president say this directly. I've also been told this in my conversations with White House officials, that he will be gathering with his National Security Council in the Situation Room very early this morning. That is what he said was the reason for why he left that G7 summit in Canada so abruptly. He said that he believed he did everything he needed to do in Canada and that really he wanted to get back to Washington immediately to deal with this escalating conflict between Israel and Iran. He said essentially that he likes to have these conversations in person. He does not believe in using phones because they could be listened to, those conversations. And so that's what he is going to be doing this morning. I do want to emphasize, though, that clip you played just moments ago of what the president said, because it is a pretty big tone shift from what we have been hearing him and other Trump administration officials say over the past couple of days. The president said that he does not want a ceasefire. He wants a permanent end. He wants any deal that could potentially be worked out to be a permanent end to this conflict. But he also said that he would potentially, believe that giving up is an option. He said that's a possibility. And that is very different from what we had been hearing up until yesterday. Because in my conversations with everyone I've spoken with here at the White House, they had said that the president really did want and believe that a deal could be worked out. Up until this point, we know that the U.S. has not really been involved directly in these strikes from Israel to Iran. Instead, they've helped provide Israel with defensive capabilities, including intercepting some of the missiles from Iran and also intelligence. But unclear if that is going to change and if there's more to why he wanted to return so abruptly. Now, he also made a ton of news, Sarah, during that Air Force One ride when he spoke with reporters. I want to read for you just some of the other things he said. He did actually dispute something we had heard from his director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, back in March when she testified that she believed that Iran was far from creating a nuclear weapon. He said actually that they are very close to that, or at least they were very close to that. He also reiterated that he wants, to wipe out Iran's nuclear capabilities. When it comes to what he said about Tehran, he wouldn't say more than that. All he said is that he wants people to be safe. He wouldn't describe any specific threat. But then he added that he does not believe that Iran would target U.S. troops. So, of course, we have lots of questions for the president and his administration today. We'll bring you all the news as we get it, Sarah.
There is so much there. Thank you so much for Elena Treen for walking us through all of it this morning.
President Trump cut his trip to the G7 in Canada short in order to monitor the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran.
Well, I have to be back. Very important. I want to just thank our great host. He did a fantastic job. Thank you. In Canada. But you probably see what I see. And I have to be back as soon as I can.
This morning, the president is back in Washington, convening his National Security Council and sounding an ominous warning for Iran, posting this on social media. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. Now, this is a defining moment in Donald Trump's second term. CNN senior politics reporter Stephen Collinson writes, President Trump is under opposing pressure from inside Israel and his own MAGA base as he ponders the most fateful national security decision of either of his presidencies, whether to attempt a killer blow against Iran's nuclear program. Joining me now in the group chat, Chuck Rocha, Democratic strategist, and Charlie Dent, former Pennsylvania congressman. I'm glad you guys are both here. Both of you are sort of intimately understanding of the politics in your parties. And with Republicans, you have the isolationist wing that's broken out under Trump. But with Democrats for the last 15 years, post-George Bush, they have moved from being an anti-war party to a little bit of a status quo world order party. So can you talk about some of the dynamics you're seeing play out?
I think as we move into the midterms, I know we'll talk about the big, beautiful bill. I saw it on the thing coming up, but all these politics are happening now. So people are getting the primaries and they're being asked these political questions. And the old party that I joined back in the day were like the leftovers from the wars that they had had in Vietnam of no war. Then there was George W. Bush. To your point, though, we've kind of got back into a corner and been like, let's just keep everybody happy. Let's just make sure the status quo. But there's still internal fighting in the Democrats between like the Bernie Sanders and the AOC wing. And then I would call it the corporate Democrats.
Before I bring in Charlie, can you talk about that Sanders AOC wing, which you know about? What are they saying? What are you hearing?
It's a great point. I was just mentioning earlier that I saw on Twitter that Massey, the Republican from Kentucky, who would be that one Republican who votes against everything, was on Twitter this morning saying, if we're going to do anything in war, it's got to come through the Congress. We're not going to have any wars. And AOC tweets at him and goes, sign me up, put me on that. And I was like, man, we're in a weird space.
Yeah. Okay, Charlie, what are you seeing from your position?
Well, left meets right. You know, it's a circle, not a spectrum. So,
yeah.
Well, look, Republicans are certainly kind of torn up on this one, because if there's if you want to define Trumpism or America Firsterism, it's isolationism, protectionism, populism, at times nihilism and nativism. And so they're really having this internal debate. What does this mean? This is an isolationist wing. They want us to stay out of foreign engagements. They don't believe in interventionism. And the Israeli attack on Iran is forcing America to choose.
Yes, here's an example. When I was looking for sort of some quotes from lawmakers, I want to bring you Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican, of course, and Senator Tim Kaine.
Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat. If we need to provide bombs to Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. But here's the bigger question. Wouldn't the world be better off if the Ayatollahs went away and replaced by something better? Wouldn't Iran be better off?
And then Tim Kaine saying the American people have no interest in sending service members to fight another forever war in the Middle East. Familiar language on the right. This resolution will ensure that if we decide to place our nation's men and women in uniform in harm's way, we will have a debate and vote on it in Congress. This is really like, we haven't heard in a time anybody wanting to vote on anything the president is doing under this sort of term. What are you hearing, Charlie?
Well, we just heard Senator Graham basically make a case for direct American intervention. That is, we would not apparently provide the means by which Israel could deliver, say, bunker busters.
Yeah, which is not off-brand for Lindsey Graham.
It's not off-brand for him. But at the same time, I think we just heard former Secretary Panetta lay it out pretty nicely. There are three options out there: diplomatic course, direct American military participation in this operation, or we just stay out of it.
Right.
And Donald Trump has to make a decision right now. And this is not going to be an easy one. It doesn't fall so neatly along the lines of, neocons versus the isolationists. I mean, there are a lot of folks who don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. The question is, once you break this, it's easy to start wars. It's a lot harder ending them. And that's what everybody's worried about, this end game.